Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today is Tuesday, August 29th, 2023, and right now it's 3 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are catching me, this is live. I did do it earlier today, but had internet connections and had said I would redo it. Um, if we had some problems with viewing or sound, and I went back and viewed it, and we had lots of problems with viewing because throughout the whole thing my internet was going off and on. So let's get started. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and I'm so happy to have you. And if you're returning, catching me live or on the replay, thank you so much for your support. I love having you here with me, and I appreciate you helping me grow my channel. If you're with me live, leave me a comment where you're from. Also, if there's any visual or hearing problems that you're noticing, please let me know. So I am going to flip this camera down and we're going to get started. Today we're going to be using the Rustic Crate Bundle. And this is a photopolymer stamp set. You have images that you can use for almost any season. So you have the pumpkins and sunflowers for fall. We have poinsettias for the holidays or winter. And then we have these plants for even spring and summer. And I love the greetings on this. We're going to be using the pumpkin today, the stamped crate image. And so we will be using this die, and I'm going to use the hello die. I love this. I'm going to show you some tricks for using this and how to add some dimension to your greeting. There's lots of things we can be doing with this, and I'm going to show you some more in the upcoming weeks, all about Autumn Designer Series paper. And it looks like I might still be having internet problems. The one piece of paper we're going to be using is this one. And these are all from the All About Autumn, just such a variety of papers. And then if you flip these over, the backs are all have gold and rose gold inlay with some patterns. It's just really pretty, very versatile that you can use for other than autumn. So we're going to start off with a piece of copper clay. Now I do have a PDF downloadable for you, and it'll be available by 6 p.m. The link will be listed right down below in the video for you to go over there and to be able to see supplies, measurements, and all that other good stuff. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. I'm just going to go ahead and burnish this with my bone folder. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this 6 by 6 piece of Designer Series paper. Now I want to be able to use both corners, so I am going to cut from this side, and this is going to be 3 3/4 by 5. So we're going to go ahead and cut that. And then because I want to preserve some of that corner with the leaves, I am going to flip it around there. I'm trying to watch the internet at the same time. And this is our second layer. So now we can get rid of this. Okay. Our first layer is going to be a layer of basic, very vanilla. And we're going to adhere this to the very vanilla. I thought that just kind of really picked up the brown tones. But the other thing we're going to do with this card is we're also going to use basic white. Because if you look at this piece of paper, you have some tones of very vanilla in here, but you also have basic white. And it's not too often that we use very vanilla and basic white together, but it really is pretty. And I'm going to show you that as we go through the card. So let's adhere this. And you just want a nice edge all the way around. Let's straighten that up a little bit. And then we're going to adhere this to the front of our card. All right. So easy peasy, really easy to get this started. And then we're going to build from here. All right, now I'm going to go about this a little bit backwards today. I am going to go ahead and do the inside, and then we'll be ready to stamp. Now for my inside, I'm using Very Vanilla, and I did cut a 1/2-inch strip of the copper clay and a 3/8 inch strip of the Designer Series paper. And I am going to adhere these together, and I'm going to use this for a decorative edge on my Very Vanilla. I often will do this because I think it pulls the card together with the Designer Series paper from what we used on the outside. And I really like the way it looks, just kind of matting it with the same cardstock. Now I am going to leave a little bit of a Very Vanilla edge here because I want that to kind of, I don't know what the word is. I guess I want it to, you'd be able to see that and be more striking or bold. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this off. Now, if you wanted to, you can put this either way. Okay, you can adhere this like this, or you can flip it around and adhere it like this. It doesn't really matter. Now, if you want to stamp an inside greeting, go ahead. I'm going to leave mine blank, and you're going to see why as we get towards the sentiment on the outside. So we've done with the basics of our card, and we're going to go ahead and just set that off to the side, and then we're going to start our stamping. Now, I am going to use Stampin' Blends markers for my coloring. So let's bring in, we're going to stamp 2 images. We're going to stamp the crate, and we're going to stamp the pumpkins and sunflowers. Now for the crate, I'm going to use pecan pie. And we have a piece of paper here that I'm going to stamp this up here. And then for our pumpkin, I am going to stamp the pumpkin and sunflower stamp with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, simply because I am going to color with Stampin' Blends, and they are alcohol based, so you don't want any running or bleeding, and that's the ink that you use for that. All right, so here's this one. Now I always let mine dry just a few minutes before I start to color. We can go ahead and move this off. Now I'm not going to color the whole image for you, but I am going to color a pumpkin, a sunflower, and the corn. And just so you can see how I'm going to blend my colors. Now for my pumpkins, I've chose Cajun Craze and pumpkin pie. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start with that. I'm going to use my bullet point, and I want this to have, pumpkins aren't perfectly all one color. You have some variation. So I want to add some Cajun Craze down in here. I'm also going to pick up the emphasis lines that are given there for the stamp. And I just want to be able to bring up a little bit, and we're going to pick that up with the pumpkin pie. So I have my dark pumpkin pie, and I'm just going to go ahead and blend these in because I want to be able to pull that color through a little bit. Now I'm doing a circular motion. You can also pull it through like this, but I think I get a better blend with the circular motion a little bit. if you're out there watching me, I'd love to hear if you like to color. I love to color. I think it's very relaxing, and I think it's good stress management if you need that. So just adding a little bit here. Now I could go ahead in with with the brush end, but I'm going to stay with this for now. Okay, so here's my pumpkin, and I'm going to go in with my light pumpkin pie, and I am going to use the brush end, and I'm just going to kind of blend it a little bit more. And I'm just doing some light swirling motions. There we go. There's our pumpkin. So for the sunflower, I am using Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to start with my dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to come in here and just add the color around the edges of the sunflower, on the inside, I guess I should say, not the edges. And then I'm going to pull that through with the light Daffodil Delight. And let's go ahead and do that. Now, it doesn't really matter if you add your dark or your light first. It's whatever you prefer to do. And I go back and forth, so there's no right or wrong way for your blends. What I do recommend, though, you doing is if you're, for one, they're ink based or alcohol based. Sorry about that. So they do spread a little bit. So I kind of try to stay away from the very edges unless I'm using the bullet point and can control it a little better. And because your ink is going to spread out, and you can always go back and add more. So there's our sunflower, and for the center, I'm going to use pumpkin pie. So let's do that. Now for the leaves on the pumpkin, I'm going to use Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to pick up those accent points again. And that's with the dark Mossy Meadow. And then I'm going to come in with my light and just add the color and blend those two. I want to keep the veins of the leaves dark, but I also want to be able to have some blending of that color. So there's my pumpkin. And now for the corn, I am going to use Lemon Lolly. Now I'm going to use the dark Lemon Lolly, and I am going to use my brush tip on this because it's a little bit bigger area. And I'm just going to come in with the dark Lemon Lolly and add that for the corn. And then for my the husks, I chose Old Olive. So just going to add a little bit of dark here. And then we'll blend it with the light. And then I'm going to stop with that coloring because you've seen me do a little bit of all of it. And I did go ahead and finish one up that I have cut out and that we're ready to use. So just going to pick up here and blend this a little bit. This is the time of year when you start to get a lot of fresh corn. At least here in Ohio we do. I live where there are a fair amount of cornfields, so we always have fresh corn around this time of year. So here is our corn. So here's the coloring, and hopefully you can see the blending and how those colors look. So let's set this aside, and I'm going to move those off, and I'm going to bring in my finished piece of pumpkins and sunflowers, and they never look quite alike when you color them. And I have my crate cut. So what I'm going to do is adhere my pumpkins to my crate. And I'm going to come in with my thin or needle point glue. Now the bottles I just get on Amazon, but then I fill them with my multi-purpose glue because I love multi-purpose glue. It sticks, it doesn't come apart, and you just get good coverage and adherence. So I'm going to go ahead in and just attach these like that. And then I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals. So I am actually going to put my dimensionals, and I'm going to use whole ones here across the bottom. And that's going to reinforce where I just adhered those together with the glue. So let's pop these on here. I just love this set. My favorite time of year is fall. And I am really, while I hate to see summer go, I really enjoy fall, and I'm getting itchy to start putting up my fall decorations. So let's go ahead and add this. And I think we're pretty good. I'm going to put one more here in the middle and one across the bottom. All right, so let's pop this on our card and get these off and see how this is going to look. Now at the end of this card, I'm going to show you a second card using that paper in different colors, or using a different paper with different colors, I should say. And please let me know which one you like best. So here is our crate and our pumpkins, and I'm going to go ahead and add it right about here. I want that white, little bit of white halo right above it. So let's straighten that out. Now for the front, I am going to make a double bow out of my linen thread, and we're going to just pop that on there. And then I want to show you a trick for using my hello greeting and how to add some dimension to that. So let's bring this through here. Oop. Let's try that again. I hope you're having a good beginning to your week. And we have a long weekend coming up with some plans. I'm sure everybody has something they're going to be doing. Today's been one of those days that when that video just wasn't, or the internet wasn't working this morning, it seemed like nothing else went right the rest of the day. But that's okay, because we're going to just keep working on it. Let's go on to the next part, and I'll come back and tie that. So we're going to use hello. And I've cut 4 of these, and they're small, they're thinner, and I wanted it to have a little bit of dimension to it. So what I'm going to do is take these 4, and 4 isn't the magic number. I did one with 3, and I did one with 5, and I liked them both. I liked the 5 a little bit better because it seemed to have a little more dimension. But all I'm doing is using my needlepoint glue and adding a little bit of glue. And we're going to go ahead and adhere these together. So, it's sticking to me, which is why you use your silicone mat so it doesn't stick to anything else. And then I'm just going to take and work these so that they line up. And it's really easy to do. And you just kind of press your edges together, and here's the first one. Now let's take and do a second one. I'm going to go ahead and add glue again here. And again, I find the needle point is best for this because you don't get too much glue there. Let's hold that down. I even will do layers when I'm doing a window card instead of using tape, the foam tape or dimensionals. I will cut strips of white or whatever color I'm using and build up my window that way. Let's see here. There we go. There's our third one. Now let's get to our fourth one. And we're going to add that in here. And then I think we're good to go. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Again, using your silicone mat helps because it keeps from sticking to your surface where you're working or your card. And you can see these just kind of, after you get them started, they just kind of line up and you can lay them down. So here's our hello. And let's move this out of the way here. And we're going to add this to the front of our card. Again, I'm going to use multi-purpose glue because I find it very strong and it holds up well. And I'm just going to add this to the outline on the back, and then we're going to adhere it to the card. Okay, I'm just going to pick up the edges, flip it around, and we're going to put this right here. So here's our hello. So here's our card. I'm going to go back and tie my bow. Most days they tie pretty easy. Some days not so much, huh? So let's bring this in a little bit. I'm just going to tighten this up, and then I'm just going to make my bows the size I want it. So let's do this. I don't mind that my bows are different sizes. That's often why I do make them out of 2. And then you can always go back and just kind of shape them up a little bit. So there's that one. Let's bring this one down a little bit. And I think we're pretty good. So let's go ahead and adhere this. I am going to trim it a little shorter because that creates at the end of the card. And I'm going to grab a glue dot and we're going to stick this on. Okay. So let's put this on, and I'm going to put it on right about here in the center. And let's move this out. So here's our card using the Rustic Crate and All About Autumn Designer Series paper. I think the pumpkin just kind of adds to the leaves and picks that up. Now here's my second card. This one I did out of Pretty Peacock. I used a different piece from that paper. I did not use white and cream, just the cream color. But very similar cards, just different colors, different paper. So let me bring it back to me. Thank you, Becky. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and help grow my channel. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified when I post a new video or I go live. For some of you, this may be a second time you're watching. Hopefully this video went much smoother than this morning. Since they fixed the internet. So I hope you have a great day, rest of your week. I'll be back with you on Friday at 11 a.m. and stay safe and well, and I'll see you soon.